get back to our quarterback conversation after a quick word from FanDuel. The NBA playoffs, well, they're here, guys, and FanDuel is giving new customers an incredible way to get in on the action right now. When you join FanDuel and place your first $5 bet, you get $250 in bonus bets if that first $5 bet wins. Don't miss out. Head to FanDuel.com/UCSS and claim your $250 in bonus bets today. We teased this earlier in the show, but now we are going to unveil our personal top quarterback rankings outside of Cam Ward. We took Cam Ward out of the discussion because he would have been number one for everybody. And we are going to start with G. Bush, then we are going to go to Jason, and then we will wrap up with Jay. But G. Bush, I asked for 3, you sent in 4. Unveil your top 4 quarterbacks in the draft outside of Cam Ward.
Listen, this is wild a little bit because I've been a Jackson Dart dude for a long time. I still got Shedeur coming in at number 1. Outside of that, we've discussed that. But Jaylen Milroe has moved up the list. And I know people like, oh, we're not going to take Jaylen Milroe. He can't throw the football. Listen, Joe Flacco and Pickett allow you to do certain things, and that means I could put Jaylen Milroe in a goal line package, short yardage package. I don't really even need him to play that much. And even if I can get 14 games out of the other 2, I can see what he's going to be able to give me at the end of the year, right? So I think the lottery ticket, the way people are saying and the way I look at it is, out of all those guys on that list, Jaylen Milroe has a skill set that gives him a higher ceiling than everybody on that list, really. The only reason I still got Shedeur high at number 1 is because he does have those intangibles. I think he is accurate, and I think he has the it quality, right? Then I got 3rd Jackson Dart. Tyler Shook, I think, will come in, and I think he'll go in the 2nd round. But I do believe that there's a chance, contrary to what people say, that all 4 of these dudes could be first-round picks if people get greedy. If Shedeur and Jackson Dart go off the board quick, somebody's gonna get up and get antsy, especially if Jaylen Milroe is there. And heck, Tyler Shook might even go in the first round, late first, early 2nd.
All right, Jason, who are your top 3 quarterbacks not named Cam Ward in this draft?
All right, I'm doing this on the assumption that the league is telling you they don't like this quarterback class. Can we agree on that?
And they have for a while.
Yeah.
They've been telling us that.
And maybe they're wrong, and maybe there's 3 Hall of Famers coming in this draft. But they're kind of telling you we don't like these guys. And actually, had I put more thought into it, I should have taken a Kyle McCord or a Will Howard, because inevitably, when they tell you they don't like it, it's the one guy they're not counting on that emerges out of nowhere, like Brock Purdy, the last quarterback taken, that turns out to be the best in the class, like Giannis Antetokounmpo going 13th in a draft that no one really liked. So there's probably somebody we're not even talking about. Maybe Jay's right, maybe it is Will Howard. I'm working off the assumption that, okay, Cam is whatever, he's not eligible for this. Who else do you like? I went with the guy with the most elite skill set, thinking you're going to get some sort of package out of him. We could be looking at a class of backup quarterbacks. But I went with Jaylen Milroe because I think he's got the one elite trait, and even if he's not a starter in this league for 10 years, he's a guy who is going to play because of his feet and because of his speed and because of his legs. He's going to find a spot, no matter, even if it's not with the team that originally drafts him. He's going to find a team that can use what he can give them. And so you could be looking at 3 backup quarterbacks Tyrod Taylor. Cordell Stewart from back in the day. I think Dustin mentioned, I just lost his name, the guy in New Orleans who's the gadget quarterback.
Taysom Hill.
So maybe Jalen becomes that. But I'm also sort of betting on the guy, like we were talking about earlier. He's unbelievably intelligent, and he's got really high character. I'll bet on people all day long. I'll bet on the character of people. And so when you take an elite skill and you're counting on the guy to put in the work to do the rest, give me Jalen, and then beyond that, Jackson Dart and Shedeur Sanders. I'm kind of going with – I'm listening to the league on this, and they're telling you they don't like him. So I'm looking at this as probably this is a class of backup quarterbacks.
Yeah, I'll start mine the same way. I don't think there's a breakout superstar, 12, 15-year Hall of Fame Super Bowl winning quarterback in this class. I would even say I don't think Cam Ward is going to reach that plateau. I know Cam is universally the guy that everybody loves. He would be my first pick at quarterback as well. So for this exercise, that works to take him off the board. You guys know the problem I have, and what I have asked, I've started asking people the last 2 weeks, and I asked Zach earlier, okay, so what is wrong with him?
Yeah.
What is it? And it's funny. Most people say it's the lack of arm strength. The reason that doesn't terrify me is because he's such a big guy. I know you can build on arm strength. The things you can't build on are the quarterback machinations of the mind. Like, you can improve on them, but I think they're either there naturally, you can handle the heat and the fire, or you can't.
Yeah.
And what I saw watching him this year is a guy that was a mixed bag in that. Early in the season, and even in the Michigan game, he was a guy that faltered in that big moment. And I didn't love it. But the reason I'm able to push that out of my mind is for the same reason everybody was done with Joe Flacco after the Houston game. We forgot the 5 great games, and we remembered the Houston playoff game. Well, with Will Howard, I've forgotten the Oregon and Michigan brain farts, and I can only remember the Texas and the Oregon and the Notre Dame thrashings, absolute thrashings. And I go back to the deep ball to Smith in the championship game. That call took onions. That throw took onions. And it was kind of, I know that the scoop and score by Jack is I think it's the defining moment of the season. But I think the cherry on top of that was the ball to Smith. And that was a deep ball. It was good coverage. He put it exactly where it needed to be in the biggest possible moment of his career so far. Might be the biggest throw he ever makes. I don't know. I said earlier that I'm only putting him at 3 so that if he bombs, history shows I didn't miss it that badly. So I'm making the ultimate hedged bet. But if this were in a conversation and when I say it, it's gone like the wind, I would just trust what I've seen from him and I would say, he's my number 2 quarterback in this class.
Yeah.
I think he's got the most upside. First of all, because he's so lowly rated, you've erased and eliminated a lot of the risk. If you get him at 33 and all those other quarterbacks are gone, it's the perfect scenario for the Browns. Well, no one else was left. He was the best available. We had to go there. So that's what I'm hoping happens. I'm not sure Shuck will be gone, but I think we could have 4 or 5 quarterbacks go in the first round, and he could be the first in the second round.
Is Pittsburgh going to take a quarterback?
I think they very well might.
I think it depends on what quarterback is there.
Yes, but I think they've got a plan to get a quarterback in the first round.
I think Jaylen Milroe is the guy people will scramble over. I think people, if he's there, I think Pittsburgh will take him.
I think they might.
I think if it's 24 or somewhere, I think somebody else. If the Browns, and you got to think about it, the Browns are going to battle the Giants because the Giants are the same position as the Browns. They like Abdul Carter. They think he's a blue chip player. They need a quarterback. They're not going to overdraft a quarterback. But once you get your blue chip player, all bets are off at that point because you got something. I think
they are in a better position than Cleveland just because I think their 2 quarterbacks, aren't they better equipped with their 2 signings than we are with ours?
Yes, but it's New York.
I get that.
They're going to swing. Because think about it. If they trade back up to get a quarterback, they're in a great position because technically their 2 backups are better than yours, right?
Yeah,
I would say.
Right.
Then they're going to get a quarterback in this draft that are probably going to be rated higher than the one you can get. And they already have Malik Neighbors. And they got 2 or 3 defensive ends that are really talented. So they got more capital to play with than the Browns do because the Browns actually need these pieces.
They do. I think that for the Browns, it could go a million different ways based on are the Giants going to try to squeeze in again ahead of them at the end of the first to get if their quarterback is there. I don't know I think the big mystery in this draft is Jaylen Milroe. I think he is literally.
I still think it's Shedeur.
The wild card.
Shedeur could go 2. He could go 32.
Yeah, but most of what I'm hearing about Shedeur now is that there was a lot of hype around him early, and a lot of it was artificial puff smoke for teams to say, yeah, you take him. You take him at number 2. You take him. I think that that's been flushed out now, and I think that the conventional wisdom now is that he could slip to mid-20s.
I could see Jackson Dart. Like, I could see somebody being like, the Saints are on the clock, and they take Jackson Dart. And you're like, Maybe.
Do you think Milroe could be the second quarterback taken? I think there's a scenario where he is.
I've said
I also think there's a scenario where he's the fourth or fifth quarterback.
Absolutely.
I agree.
I don't think Shedeur is in that. I think Shedeur is going to be the third.
Because of the importance of the position and the volatility of the rankings, I've said all along, I think this is going to be a wild draft that's got surprises that we have not talked about.
Like trades?
Just where guys are going.
Players.
Where guys are going.
Would you be floored if Jaylen Milroe was the second quarterback taken?
No.
Because I won't be.
No.
Because that speed is so damn intoxicating. And people look at
it's not
Lamar
a great
Jackson.
There's no great quarterbacks
and I look
according to the league.
I look at it like this. If they let Penix and Bo Nix go last year, I could squint my eyes and look and be like, Tyler Shuck.
I just don't see it with him.
I don't see it with him
I've
either.
looked at so much tape of him the last week, and I'm
if you're
trying to see
if you're 26 years old, you should be dominating
To
college
me,
football.
you know what? The Browns have been here. We have that cautionary tale. Do you remember when they drafted
Whedon?
Brandon Whedon? Oh, my God. I took so much grief the next day on first take because of his age.
Guys,
everybody was just killing me.
There's a bunch of kids that are older than what they should be. What's the name? I thought Sean King pointed that out. People with these COVID years.
26, though?
Hey, but I'm just saying. I'm not saying that I would take Tyler Shook. I laughed at how he just automatically came out of nowhere. But somebody's going to get desperate. When them picks start coming off the board and you start looking around and you thought you was going to be able to get a guy, and then you say, I had Milroe, and then I had Jackson Dart, and then you're like, well, hold on. Those guys are gone now. It get dark early, man.
From listening to as many drafts, podcasts, and analysts as I have, I think this exercise was a good demonstration of after Cam Ward, there is no consensus whatsoever.
No, you're right. You're right.
A team may have Tyler Shuck second. They could have Tyler
fifth,
eighth. Honest to God.
Mike, to that point, let me ask this question. I think, I'll answer it before I ask it. I think the quarterback most likely to be taken to by the Browns if they go that way is Jaylen Milroe. I don't think they're going to take any of these other guys at number two. But I do think because you kept saying, if they have a high grade on him and they love this guy, then take him.
Yeah.
I think they do like him that much.
Yeah.
I think there's
Tommy Reese has worked with them. I think Stefanski is intoxicated by his speed and his upside, and you've got a year time frame where you can say, come in, no pressure, you're not playing this year.
Well, not to start the year. Not to start the year.
Yeah, and we're going to develop you. And I think that of all the quarterbacks that are sitting there, he is the one most likely that the Browns would take at number two. Am I wrong?
But watch this.
I think the different way to say what you're saying, I think he's number two on their quarterback rankings.
Okay, so here's the thing.
Behind Cam.
Here's the dangerous
part.
Right,
and I'm projecting they want one so badly they're going to take it.
If you want to get dangerous, wait till 33. Because I'm gonna tell you something. If you want to let him run around in this division with Lamar Jackson and they take him at Pittsburgh.
Oh my God! And he develops like Jackson does.
And he's.
You're not winning the division for 10 years.
You cannot
stamp it.
I'm telling you this. If you got any intel around the league that the Pittsburgh Steelers are possibly taking him, you cannot allow him to go there. You just can't.
You really can't.
You can't.
Because if he does hit, you're not winning the division for 10 years.
You're done.
I don't care who your quarterback is. Because I don't care if.
But you can't live in the fears of what your opponent.
I know.
But one team already did it. The Baltimore Ravens was like,
at 32.
You fools want to let him fall to us? Let's take him. And we're like, dog, this is not good. This is not good. You can't have three quarterbacks like that in the division, man. I'm sorry. You better get up. If
Pittsburgh
you want
picks
him,
where? Pittsburgh picks where?
21.
Okay, so who picks at 20?
The Denver Broncos.
Okay, so if I'm Cleveland, and that's my fear, I'm waiting to 19. And if Pittsburgh, if he's still out there, and you have and there is a run on the other quarterbacks, and he's sitting there, and you think now Pittsburgh's going to take him, do you call Denver and package your 33 and something else to move up and take him before Pittsburgh does?
That's the place.
If that happens, then I'll predict the future. Now he'll flop. If that happens,
if he's gone, then okay. I don't know if I want to get up. How do you feel about Dart? I think you think he's a.
Yeah, I think he's a career backup.
Yeah, so in that case, if he's not there, I might go running back. I might just go running back. I might not even take the quarterback. I'll take one of the. Listen, get Will Howard or something.
It's going to be a fascinating
Real quick. Back to your original question. I do think there's going to be Kyle McCord, Will Howard, Dylan Gabriel, somebody that nobody is talking about.
In the first?
No, who's actually going to be like a pretty good quarterback out of this
quarterback,
draft.
right.
Okay.
That nobody's talking about. Because
Facts.
we all have the same names. We're all talking about the same guys. There's a Brock Purdy out there somewhere. There's a Giannis. Well, Giannis is bad because he's really good. But there's a quarterback out there that we are not talking about that's going to wind up being pretty good.
Yeah.
But see, it can't be Will Howard because I've been talking about
Yeah,
Will
Jay,
Howard
if
a
it's
lot.
Will
Yeah.
Howard, Jay's on that
Probably
big.
nationally.
Someone else.
Okay.
It could
All
be
right.
someone else.